Hello everyone. I recorded my first Banter Blitz several days ago, and my performance then was really quite mediocre because I couldn't make up my mind very well while making comments on the position. So I decided this time to do a post game analysis so I could show a game where my moves were at least decent, and I wanted to be a little bit more instructive and give deeper explanations on my opponent's moves. And this blitz game was played yesterday. My opponent was white and he was a little bit lower rated, and this game was so strange. I thought this was one of the most bizarre games I've ever played, and I wanted to do a good analysis on that. This is quite a memorable experience to play such a game. And let's move on. So my opponent made things interesting on move one with g4. Uh, he probably hoped that I was shocked to see that, but this is quite familiar for me. This is called Grope's opening, and this is quite a suspicious one. I've played this position with white 3 or 4 times, and I didn't get good positions. Uh, and I've played this many times with black, and I like playing against Grope. Uh, Principal line is d5, bishop g2, bishop takes e4, c4. White hopes to exploit b7 weakness and get counterplay on this long diagonal, but the sacrifice of g4 pawn is really quite big. Uh, Now kingside is compromised with this g4 move, and queenside is compromised with c4. So white can find really difficult to get a safe king, because king will feel very uncomfortable either on the queen side or king side, and sit on the center is quite a challenge. So I think this is simply better for black. If you continue c6, queen b3, you can defend b7 with queen d7, I think, but even sacrifice b7 pawn to get a really quite fast development with knight f6, e6, bishop e7 castles, and black has no problems, and white has long-term problems with his king. But I lost recently a game against Grobe with d5 with this main line in less than 20 moves, I think. I played really terribly at that time, and this bad experience probably uh, influenced me this game, and I wanted to do things a little bit differently. So I played d6. I probably a counter surprise because white didn't know what to do against that. And well, he continued with typical bishop g2, hoping that my bishop moves and he takes on b7 and takes my rook. But c6. I really like the c6 d6 small center setup, especially when I'm playing King's Indian, and c6 now prevents bishop from taking on b7, and this structure is really solid. And I think in this position I'm really threatening taking on g4, and white has to do something. Even a more conventional e5 is acceptable, even if not better. But I chose c6. I really like this position with c6, and he played quite a pointless move, I would say, c4. Now he's attacking basically nothing, and it gives up a g4 pawn for no compensation, so I take it. And now queen b3 attacks b7 pawn, but probably d4 was even better. This position is so good that even after e5, d5, d5, queen takes d8, king takes d8, computer offers me this queen exchange, and he says, well, you're a solid pawn up. What do you want? This is -1, computer's assessment. So that's quite big, I should say, if the queen exchange in this manner is very good for black. But okay, queen b3, not d4. And queen b3 is not really a challenging move. I defend everything with queen c7 and I'm very solid. Now he plays d4, and I play this King's Indian-like setup with g6. Of course, I could play e5, but that's more conventional. I wanted to get something dynamic. Of course, e5 also guarantees some dynamics in the position. Now probably white should accept the fact that he has no counterplay on b7 whatsoever and play e4 and play in this King's Indian style with big center and space advantage. But of course, a pawn is a pawn. But he played even more strange. He did strange choice with bishop f4. And now I really wanted to punish him, and I wanted to steal the tempo, which I should say, with bishop h6. So he played bishop f4 and now would play bishop takes h6 in 2 moves, so he wasted the tempo. Of course, bishop g7 probably is more flexible, but bishop h6 is also interesting. He played bishop g3. He could play bishop takes h6, knight takes h6, e4, f5. I planned this. Probably I missed queen e3. And this after knight f7, f3, bishop h5, ef5, gf5 is quite interesting because now pawn structure is quite fractured, but probably an open g file is preferable for me, more advantageous for me than my opponent, and still a lot of dynamics breakthrough with e5s also exists in position. But okay, he played bishop g3, and I played one more move when I quite speculatively, I should say, f5, trying to trap his bishop with f4 and g5 later. And of course, knight d7 developing maybe is more conventional, but I wanted to play original chess. And he played h3, bishop h5, and at this point on move 8 I realized that this is quite a unique position. I've never seen this before. And this square h5 for the bishop is a really interesting position for this bishop. Okay, he played e3, making a solid center with his pawns. Knight f6 developing, and he plays c5. Now he wants to exploit the pin of the d6 pawn, but d6 pawn is quite well defended, so probably more natural would be knight c3, knight bd7, knight g2, and black would play eventually e5, hoping to break the center and get a fast attack on white's king. But okay, c5 is also interesting. And now I played knight bd7. I checked this game with the computer, and computer after c5 screamed f4. This is a pawn sacrifice, but if e4, this bishop is quite sad on g3. I could play dc5, and if f5, queen a5, and it looks like in two moves, the whole center of white pawns is completely collapsed. So this is a really big advantage for black. And but I play knight bd7, probably missing the fact that after cd6, white he has some chances. I looked at queen e5 check, knight c3, f4. I saw this f4 idea, but a little bit mistimed probably. And ed6, and I thought this is quite comfortable. Of course, my pawn advantage disappeared, but I thought this is really pleasant for black. And computer even gave ed6 also as an alternative. Queen e6, king d8, bishop takes d6, queen b6, bishop e7, king c7. And this is a strange position. It's quite murky, but I really preferred another version with queen e5 check. But this is also interesting. But I think this is too much counterplay for white. Of course, b2 pawn now is weak. Everything's weak for black and white. So this is a bit stranger one. And he didn't play cd6. I thought cd6 is really natural. He played queen e6, and that's a big mistake, because now he has no time to take on d6. Now I play f4, which is the best move. And now computer shows a -2 for black. So white is really in trouble. He still could complicate things with cd6, but now queen a5 is quite crazy line. I found out that this with the computer. Knight c3, castles, d7, capturing another pawn, fg3, sacrificing an exchange, but getting everything you can dream of in this position. f2 is vulnerable. I will take it next move. When I take on f2, e3 is vulnerable, and rook 8 is coming, and everything collapses in white's position. I looked after cd6 only on queen d6, ed6, e4, or bishop f4. I don't know which is better. And no material advantage, but I felt this is a really good endgame for black. Pieces are already developed and pawn structure is more solid. But okay, he played e4 immediately, and I simply castled. dc5 was probably the best move, because after dc5, now knight takes c5, and queen is attacked. Rook can be quickly developed on d file, and some mating patterns on d1 starting to appear in the position. So this is a really big advantage for black also, but I kept things still in my pocket, castles. And he played f5. He wanted one more time to exploit d6 pawn. And now I played queen a5 check, knight c3, dc5, dc5. And in this position, the engine really liked gf5, queen f5. And I really didn't look at gf5 because I failed to notice how strong e6 is. White, of course, cannot capture because rook h8 pins the queen and white is lost. But even if he retreats, queen to c2, now knight takes c5, black is a pawn up and white cannot do anything. His king is in the center. There's simply a very bad position. But I played queen c5. Queen c5 is also very good. And now white should quickly play knight g2 and castle. Just run away from the center. But he played bishop h3, bishop f3, sorry. And I thought white has no time to exchange pieces, and bishop f3 is really a mistimed move, so I can take another pawn with queen takes f5. And now if queen takes f5, gf5, bishop h5, knight h5, I saw that, and that's 2 pawns. That's simply a winning endgame. Not endgame, still middle game, but that's close to winning. Technically winning. And he played queen e7, which is the worst. Now black is winning in every possible way, probably. I could pin the either way queen and take it, but I chose the most accurate way. Computer approved this with bishop takes f3. Now the pins on e-file are still available, and rook on h1 is also hanging, so this is really strong. And he tried one last trick with queen d6. Now mate on c7 is threatened, and the most accurate way to defend it is give a check and block with knight e5. And now the connection with bishop on g3 and queen on d6 is lost, and rook on h1 is still attacked, queen on d6 is attacked, everything collapses, and there is no mate to black's king. I tried another one, quite a bizarre one, knight e8, but it actually attacks the queen, defends mate, and rook on h1 is still hanging. So this is really strong move also. And he made things simple. Rook h2, just give up queen. I saw queen d4. This is a nice line to mention. And if bishop takes h1, queen takes h8, knight ef6 traps the queen. So that's why black is surely winning, even with rooks exchange in such a manner. So knight e8 was played, rook h2, and knight takes d6, and now the rest is simply just moves. Knight g2, bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes, rook g2, queen d2, king f1, rook hf8, and my opponent lost on time or resigned. I don't remember, but that's horrible. That's bishop and queen and pawn and everything. That's hopeless. Uh, so this position, this whole game was really quite original. I After bishop h5 on move 8, this position was so unique for me. I've never seen something like this. And after c5 even, that's that those bishops on h5 and h6. How often do you see this constellation of pieces? This whole game is fascinating me a lot, and even when it is completely one-sided game, while they had never an advantage, I should say, it's still making a quite a good impression visually, and this is quite nice game. I will remember this for a week, I should say, at least. So thank you for watching. I hope this analysis was was quite good and enjoyable. So have a good evening.